Ladies and gentlemen, today I am brought in part by another Awaken Chaos Hero. Almost said Raid Shadow Legends there. Content creator.
Oh, no.
How you doing today, Kyre?
I'm doing fantastic. How you doing? How you doing, Darth?
Doing pretty good, man. You can see I'm doing a few summons in the background because I have some diamonds piling up. I figure we'd see where we're at. But the point of the video today is we're going to talk about some of our most favorite heroes. We're going to talk about our favorite legendaries, epics, rares. There is no rarity associated with this. Speaking of rarity, I just got rare taxed here. 10 rares. Unlucky. Let's see if we can get unlucky one more time, but there's no rarity in particular associated with this. It's going to be more of a conversation about some of our more favorite heroes, why, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what heroes we think the game also is going to need. So I'm going to send it right over to you right off the bat. Do you have an absolute favorite hero that you just love the most in this game?
Absolute favorite? You know, I'm just going to start with the most whale thing ever. It's Krazer's egg. 100% my favorite hero. Reason why, well, he has so much going for him in his kit. His auto attack is dope with the reduced healing. That's actually super clutch in arena. He has the passive that not only reduces the, removes passives off people, removes the buffs of people, but then constantly goes if you build the team around him to where if you have multiple turns happening, he's gaining rage, he keeps going. And then lastly, he has this nuts ultimate that does 1 billion damage. And if he kills someone, he gets to go again. So you can have a whole lot of fun. Yeah, like a lot of fun team comp building, strategizing, figuring it out, and then just, I don't know, he just works really well. And plus, he's just good. Like, that's another thing, too. He's just actually good. But I think the fun part of it is that there's so many different ways you could build him team comp-wise.
I love the unhealable in his...
It's by far the most underrated part of his kit. I'm glad that you said that, because as a person that's been playing like higher end arena with a lot of the really tanky teams, the unhealable is the thing that I find is most clutch. Like there's been some times where I'll like remove all the damage off him and just make him high focus and fast, and then you rely on his special and his auto attack to actually provide a lot of utility for you, because there's really not that many unhealable like on something that's that reliable.
It's
you could
true.
Bring like
it's 100%
but it's
on
still
a basic. That's fantastic.
It's
and
super clutch.
I'm sure unhealable is going to have more uses as more things get added to the game, because what I'm realizing is there's a lot of heroes that have things like the unhealable or like the steel that Godfarers have, but as they add more PvE content, I'm sure the game's not over. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's going to be more PvE content coming down the line, and as it does, I think unhealable is going to be one of those things. The Godfairy Steel is going to be one of those things. Like, some of these mechanics are going to be even better as the game goes on. And that's kind of another topic for another video, but I did want to point out, I don't think this game is going anywhere. From what I've seen, there's been a few comments like, is it dead already or whatever? And no, I really don't think it is. I think that the developers probably need to add a few more heroes. But it's been really the only complaint I've seen in terms of the actual game, because very quickly you start to run out. Exactly.
Yeah. There needs to be more, like, and having more unique situations is going to make the game better, because I like to base games off of, take it with a grain of salt, but like basing it off of like where the equivalent game was at this time of release. There's so many more things that this game's had, but it's just going to be up to them to just keep cranking on content and see where it's at. But there's so much support from this, not only from this developer, but from everyone around it, that it seems like it's not going anywhere.
That's a good point too, because even I've seen in some of the sponsorship offers, I've seen more people talking about Awaken Chaos. So I know the advertising dollars are going into the game. Like, I know there is going to be, the marketing push is not over, and normally marketing push does have a large amount to do with the influx of players, etc. So I want to just kind of put to rest the people who are maybe really loving the game and feel maybe there's a couple people that, aren't loving it anymore or whatever. I don't think the game's going anywhere. I think it's kind of in the minority of the people that are, and the people that are complaining at this point, I feel like the type of people that are going to complain about literally every gacha game. Like, the game's been getting pretty, it's a pretty good quality, I think, in terms of overall gacha games. And the heroes are fun too, which brings me to kind of one of my more favorite heroes. And I've talked about him time and time again on this channel, but another hero I love is Hector. And he was the first legendary I got because I got him from the rookie summons. And he might be kind of clunky and weird because you have to know how to use his basic attack, and he has 3 different basic attacks, and it doesn't explain that at all in his kit. But he's one of the most fun heroes Because if you have either Mary or Evelyn Firston or even Windstrex, you can make him ult over and over and over again and just get so many turns in a row that it's just a lot of fun. I guess this list is kind of turning into some of the more fun heroes.
Yes. Well, but they're good, though. This is easily one of the best heroes for what he does. He's to absolute top tier this week in Guild Boss. Definitely use your Hector if you got him. Super good hero.
S-tier attack.
I want to try him out. You mean, because I have him ready to go, and it's the perfect time to actually get some use out of this guy. So it's going to be fun to give him a shot.
You know, speaking of good times to get use out of him, do you want to talk about your new acquisition here?
Oh, yeah, I finally got him. I got lucky, finished the foodie quests, happened to pull one of the few legendaries I actually need, which is like super clutch. And I like him a lot. He's going to be used in the guild raid. Also, I've been using him in Ash, and he's dope. You know, he's definitely one of the best heroes in the game when it comes to his passive. His passive is underrated, but his ultimate is the main reason why people like him. But this whole 20% accuracy and 20% precision, I think that's low-key, pretty dope. Not many situations that you actually bring him in that you're going to really rely on that, but I think that's something to keep in mind for later, because stuff like accuracy and precision is going to get, you know, noticed later on. You know, as gear gets better, as maybe content gets harder, that might be something to look into.
And this move right here, I think is one of the most underrated moves in the entire game. But like you're saying, everyone talks about his ult because it kind of overshadows it. But look at this. Grants his shield before any team member takes damage. Okay? 30% of the damage received is converted into heal over time. So
that's pretty clutch.
You get your health right back, but as a heal over time. So what that means is you get a buff, and so it triggers stuff that are buff related, you know, Nathalia, Mathasia's passive, stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting, and the only problem is you could argue, yeah, it can get stripped away. But you also get a shield before the damage happens too. Now, I haven't figured out how the shield scales. It doesn't say. I don't know if it's supposed to be like 30% of the damage that you received is also shielded and then healed over time. So you only take like 60% or, you know, 30% of it.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
Annoying. Yeah. And then they just have the 5% healing strength on there. It's a bummer that it's not specific. There's a lot of heroes that it seems like there's, you know, you're picking the two heroes that have some of the most unexplained mechanics. We got Hector over here, and now we got Zinlin with this part of his passive here. It's kind of funny, but
because if you
also
read
a bummer
it,
that they.
If you read it too, it's almost like it's a protection thing where he absorbs the damage your teammates make, because it says redirect some damage from the target to this character. Like, why is that under shield? That's not the definition of shield. So
it's bizarre.
Anyway,
that should be like ally protection or something like that if we were going to use raid terms.
Right, and then we have precision down on the basic, which is all right. Because you normally use them in places where you're strong affinity, right? So having precision down makes it where they deflect on you more, which means you're even tankier as a team. I believe that's the way that works.
Yeah, it's a little hard to rely on because you're relying on what. I don't believe the precision numbers of these bosses are even disclosed, let alone you're also, it's kind of counterintuitive because you have his ult, the whole point you're trying to nuke them, and then you have this precision down. I think maybe on the guild boss, it's actually pretty clutch, potentially. I don't know, I haven't tested that, but on like Ash, for example, he's already dead before that would even really matter.
So
hey, I'm going to pick, next hero. Okay. I think he's dope, but I'm going to pick one for both of us because I know you like this hero, but I just leveled him up. All right. And it's Goobag.
Oh,
he's
great.
One of the coolest heroes.
I'm loving this. Yeah. He's right in this one, right? There he is.
So cool. And I thought he was just going to be a meme or maybe used in like what's that one dungeon with the speed on it? But this guy's easily one of the best arena nukers. And I don't think you need him ascended to be actually good. I think he's obviously way better if you have him 5 ascended, but that's crazy. Because it would be a big bummer if this fun character like this is not good unless you 5 ascend him out on legendary. Then he's just like super whale food.
True. Or
this massive investment that's not worth it. But he's actually good, in my opinion. Being able to go this often is too good to ignore. And then especially when you get to the point when it's either only one boss or you're getting down to 1 or 2 people, his ult hits like an absolute truck. It's easily one of the hardest hitting moves in the entire game. And then the amount of flexibility you have when you have the fastest speed in the game on unfortunately, A-tier attacker. If he was S-tier attack, I think he'd be absolutely busted. But you got that going for him. You get poisons on his special there.
Ignores 50%. You have a chance to ignore
potentially.
50% of the target's defense. And then to go your point to Rian Nuker, 300% damage. And it scales with speed, which is S tier, by the way.
Yes. So it's scaling with speed. I wish they would explain exactly how much damage was the speed portion so we can really start to see just how big this damage is, because this has to be one of the biggest modifiers in the game. 300% is just, that alone is big. But then even though it's spread out, but then adding the damage scales to speed, it's even more than that, which is crazy. And then knowing that he's the S tier speed, and then his passive, the whole point of his kit is that his passive, that he's gaining bonus turns per his 150 speed, which I thought would only be good once you get to the point where you're getting a bonus turn every 100 speed, but I think it's totally fine at that point. You get one bonus turn there. And then he's scaling further with his auto attack, potentially giving him 10 speed. So the longer the content goes, the faster he's going to get. So you could potentially, depending on how good your gear is, push him to 300 speed. That would take some nutty gear, but over time, because you can gain a maximum 100 bonus speed and then get 2 bonus turns. So he's going to be going even more.
And also, it might be tempting to put him in the Raider's speed gear, which is something you can do to get that 300 speed. But you can also put him in Curse gear, because every time he gets that bonus turn, he has a chance to trigger another bonus attack. And the bonus attack itself will grant speed off the basic. So you can ramp that way as well, which means then you can hit the cap.
One thing I want to say, though, that I wish they would do is they don't do a good job of visualizing this trait, where I've been using him and I don't know where I'm at speed wise. I don't know how much max speed I have. And that's one of the things, quality of life, that they need to have for this character, because
an RPM
that's
gauge,
a big bummer.
Like in a car, like if they just had it by where it's like, and like ramps it up,
Yes.
It could be absolutely fire. But no, I think this is a great one. I think this is a great call right here, and probably the perfect one to end it on. Goobag might be the most fun legendary in the entire game, arguably.
I agree. And he pairs well with Krazer's egg. So it's super dope.
There it is. And Imogen, who I have. That's my fun light dark legendary that I have. Well, thanks for watching this video, everybody. Make sure to go over to Kyra Mobile's channel. You cover Awaken Chaos on your channel, correct?
Yes, I do. Be sure to join in. We got that. Also, join server Voltan for Lost Ark. That's where we're at for Lost Ark. We've been playing a lot of that.
If you're doing Lost Ark, absolutely. We're Pod Guild. Join Voltan. We're both playing. All right. I love y'all. See you in the next video.